Hi, Aquarius. Okay. So, let's talk a little bit more about these emotional outbursts because I don't really want to talk about that stuff in front of everybody. I don't know. I feel like the thing about the extended or Patreon, anything that's behind a paywall is like, I can be a little more honest without feeling like I'm embarrassing you. Like, there are certain things that I just won't say in a general. You know? So, there's a lot of pride involved here. And that's usually why you keep things to yourself anyway. Because a big part of being able to withstand pain and being able to withstand disappointment, being able to heal, even if you're healing from things, you know, realizations, things from the past, nothing like this doesn't have to be that someone hurt you. But when you're going through that process of healing, when you're going through this really painful reassessment of life where you know that there are certain ambitions, relationships, people that you have to leave behind because it's too heavy to carry it anymore, it can really fuck with you, right? And we've been talking about this for a while, how like this affects your identity, it affects who you think you are, it affects like, it can feel like depression, right? Because you don't recognize yourself. And then in late November, it's like a light goes on and you realize that starting over and having new goals doesn't necessarily mean failure at all. Actually, it was those other goals that would have taken you down a road that you may think was very glamorous, but actually was not meant for you. The eclipse shows you a way out. And it's a way out that still keeps your pride intact. It's a way out that doesn't require you to give up and start over. It's like you get to float over into your next phase of life without feeling that dip. Now that dip is those emotional outbursts at the beginning of the month. So if you can keep yourself from falling into that pit, then I think at least when it comes to finances and finding a professional direction, after the eclipse, the door is open. And it makes sense because when we have feelings of inadequacy, it's inevitably going to bleed over into what we do. It's never relegated to just, you know, our relationships or our romantic relationships even. A lot of times people will talk about how they don't feel worthy in a romantic relationship when really all they're talking about is not feeling worthy in general. You know, that's not just about romance, that's about everything. It's about the way you move and the way you talk and the tone of your voice and the way you dress and where you go and where you won't go, what you'll tolerate, what you won't tolerate. So this eclipse shows you a way out. And it's a way out that you can readily take. It's easy, except that you won't even see the door if you're in the midst of your own outbursts, in the midst of your acting out your own jealousies, in the midst of, you know, continuing to be blind to the emotions that are running your life, to those feelings of lack that are controlling the narrative right now. Now again, like I say to everybody, it's easy to get stuck in regret about that. Oh my God, I can't believe I've wasted so much time letting this control the narrative. Damn it. Who cares? Who cares? What we need to do now in the midst of all these fixed squares and all this uncertainty is to create some certainty. So how do we do that? Well, the best and strongest basis and foundation of certainty is self-love. So giving that love to self, working on appearance, working on ego, working on compassion, being kind to others, being giving to others, allowing your pain, allowing your fears to come up, to be conscious and generous with them, to be compassionate, not letting it exhaust you, not letting it come up like an outburst or a weird, jealous, argument. Giving it the compassion, giving it the kindness to come up in an easy way, a soft way, an intellectual way where you're thinking about these things as they come up. Oh wow, just now I wanted to tell you that I wanted to punch you in your fucking face for looking at that girl. But now that I think about this, it's because I'm not really feeling very good about myself. And when I think more about that, you know what I'm realizing? I don't think I've felt very good about myself for quite some time. And when I think about that, you know what I realized? I realized that maybe I started feeling that way when I moved in here and I had to start dealing with your dumbass. Do it the Virgo way. No, that doesn't make it your fault. It's still my fault, but at least now I know what I'm doing wrong. Don't take any of this and make it somebody else's fault. This is not somebody else's fault. This is your responsibility. Fuck fault. Fuck blame. Who cares? This is where the blame, the shame, the fault, everything, this Five of Cups card drives me nuts. When people get into this Five of Cups energy, it's literally the antithesis of the Wheel of Fortune to me. It's like there's just complete lack of circulation of energy here. You're just standing there looking, who dropped the cups? It's your fault. You did it. No, you did it. No, you did it. No, you did it. No, well, I wouldn't have done it if you wouldn't have done this. And I wouldn't have done that. Like, okay, but there are some cups right here. Okay, no, not as many, but from what I'm seeing, there wasn't that much in these anyway. Like, why don't you just turn around and fill these? Well, maybe those ones are empty. Okay, but at least they're there. You know, the way my personality is set up, I would just take all 3 of them, take all 5 of them and go right there to the one. Boom. Hey, here we go. We got more now. You know, what's the point of this? Well, if I had known earlier, if I could have, who cares? You couldn't have known earlier. Too bad. But you can take what you know. What would you have done if you had known earlier? Well, if I had known earlier, I could have done this and this. So why can't you do that now? Well, I could do that. Well, if you just imagine yourself not doing it for a year. Imagine yourself a year from now being like, oh my God, I could have done this a year ago. Boom, now it's a year ago. Do it. Simple, simple. See how easy that was? Stop taking advice from your stupid friends. I really don't know how to make this more clear. Stop taking advice from your stupid friends. Give your brain a break. And can we be more honest and more vocal and more open with the people around us about money? Can we talk more about money and the things that we actually want instead of like self-medicating and like getting ourselves like into some kind of stoned out stupor? Can we just like be honest about what it is that we need and what it is that we want? It's very easy to do this when you see your perceived faults, your perceived insecurities for what they really are. Because every one of those things that's going to come up, there's some seed of it in there that's true that you need to work on. If you're looking at every other person you see and you're jealous of them, what is it about you that you need to work on that will make you feel at least equal to them? You see what I'm saying? When you get to the point where you can be that honest and that straightforward and that kind of cold and removed from yourself that you can see your problems with enough distance that you can offer actual solutions, then it becomes also very easy to talk about other things that can be very sticky subjects that are all wrapped up with ego and pain and insecurity and inadequacy, namely money. Namely money. When you no longer are this minefield of insecurities that are just waiting to go off, it's easy to talk about money. It may not be easy for the people around you. They may find it very confusing, but there you are being solid. Because you realize something, especially as we get into Sagittarius season. You realize that there is so much more in terms of resources around you. And there's so much, more importantly, there's so much money you could make if you wanted to, that you stop thinking that the situation that you're in has to be the way that it is and you need it more than it needs you. It's not that anymore. You stop thinking that way. You get that out of your head and you start to see yourself as an equal. You start to see yourself as someone who has as much right to be where they are as anyone else. And interestingly, this is going to change everybody's tune. By the beginning of December, everyone has a different tone. Everyone wants to be nice. Everyone wants to play. Everyone wants to talk. Everyone wants to make money. Right? And you're like, wow, this is really weird. Because now all of a sudden, after a couple of months of me giving you guys the reset and not tolerating the bullshit, look how everybody falls in line. And then in December, if you want to be aggressive towards anyone who's really held you back and really like tried to turn you upside down, by all means, go for it. Because you'll be speaking from a place of power. You'll be speaking, therefore, from a place of love. And that's when you can really kill people with it. All this meaningless screaming, shouting, whatever the fuck that people do, it's out of fear, it's out of pain, it's weakness. As soon as you raise your voice, you've lost already. That's it, you're done. You lose. Because you've lost control of your emotions. If you were in the right, why would you lose control? Now, it's not right, but it's psychologically how we work, right? So when you're talking to somebody about money, when you're talking to somebody about your living situation, when you're talking to somebody about how much you should charge them or whatever, and you're doing so from a place where you are not screaming insecurities and lack, whatever you say, those people are going to believe you. Because unlike them, you're whole. You see the flaws, you see the holes, you see where you think you're not enough. And you're able to look at it, like I said, with a little bit of distance, coldly almost. There's a kind of ruthless intelligence that Aquarians have, and they rarely get to use it. But you see yourself clearly, and you're like, oh, well, that's easy to fix. I got this. I could do this. These are the cups that need to be filled. I could fill these cups. I could fill these cups. Fuck that. This is easy. Now, some of you are so on point and so progressive and so in the future that you already have it mapped out. You're like, bitch, I already know the surgery I'm getting. I already know the thing that I'm doing. I already know where I'm moving. Like, boom, boom, boom. Insecurities, these nuts. Like, I have it all figured out. And for those of you, I say congratulations because everything is working. Mashallah, mashallah, God bless, in your favor. And you're like, oh, this is going to bring me this many more opportunities and it's going to elevate me. And you are absolutely right. Especially if you're dealing with a Capricorn, especially if you're dealing with a Libra. Money, 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 money. And what should you be doing while all this money is rolling in? Keep your calm. Keep your calm. When you get to the up and down of like, keep your calm. Keep your calm. 1 minute it's going to seem like, oh my God, I can't believe this is such a big opportunity. The next minute it's like, oh my God, can I do it? Keep your calm. Don't get too happy or too sad about anything. Throughout November, when you get to December, boom, you can just see the benefits. All those times in November when you could have said something and you didn't, and you're like, oh my God, imagine if I would have said something that. Just keep your calm. There's going to be people around you. They're going to try to pull you out of your energy. They're going to try to get you into some weird power dynamic. Blah, 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 blah. And you don't know if you should deal with them or not. You don't know if you should talk to them. They seem a little like controlling to you, especially fire sign energy. They seem a little possessive, a little controlling, like they want things to go their way. Listen, even if they're being tight with the money, you know yourself. You know that you make hits. That's it. You know yourself. You make hits. You don't have to worry about this. Whatever they scheme, whatever they plan, whatever they want to do, your energy is so expansive right now that nobody can hold you. That's why it's so important what Saturn's doing to you right now. Because you may be thinking like, why is Saturn in my shit like this? Like making all these insecurities come flying out of my mouth, making me tell all this truth. Like, what the fuck? Like, why are you doing this? Because Saturn wants you to understand fully that when people are on their fuck shit, you don't need them at all. Because you don't have any holes in your armor. You don't have any insecurities. You're like, yeah, whatever. Okay, I'll do it on my own. Oh, you want to be like this? It doesn't matter because I'm still winning. I'm going to keep winning no matter what. Inshallah, God willing. Like, it's just, that's it. And when you get in that mindset, the power that it brings you, even the things in your relationship and your love life that you feel are not working out right now, if you're single and you feel like you just can't attract somebody right now, like it just seems impossible, even those things start to fall into place because you're conquering something. You're finally in control of something that up until now has been quite quietly, subtly running your life, ruining your life, running your life, however you want to take it. The cards say ruining, I'll say running, right? So when you have, there you go, when you have these fixed squares happening, especially with Uranus and Saturn, my God, See the message in it. See the talent. See the money that can be made. See what needs to be left behind so you can move forward clean, baby. Do you know how much I love you? I don't think you do. This is a lot of fucking progress. You are doing very well. Very well. And I know these are sensitive things. And I know it's not easy. And I know acting like an adult 99% of the time and then having somebody tell you that you have to be accountable for your actions is really grating and really irritating. And I don't mean it that way. But being accountable for who you are and what you are is the greatest joy of life. Because it leads you to being the kind of person that brings joy to everyone else in life. And therefore it fills and floods your life with joy. It's the beginning of joy. Love you.